Hello, I'm Roger White. I'm the chair of Cedar Falls Bicycle Pedestrian Advisory Committee, and welcome today to Cedar Falls Currents Up Close. Today our topic is the Bicycle Committee that I just introduced, and also we're going to talk about May, which is Bicycle Recognition Month, and some of the activities that are going on during the month of May. My guests today, we have Luann Alameo Johnson and Larry Buchholz. So Luann, would you like to introduce yourself, please?
Sure, Roger. I am on the Bicycle Pedestrian Advisory Board, and I think I've been there for a couple of years, is that right? And I'm also representing Blue Zones because I'm on their advisory board, and they're certainly promoting a healthy, well city, and bicycling and walking is part of that.
Okay. Larry.
Larry Buchholz. I'm just coming on the Bicycle Advisory Committee. I will be on, my first meeting will be next month. I've also been with the Cedar Trails Partnership for a number of years, and we've been very active in advocating for the trail system in the metro area for over 20 years now. So we've got a tremendous trail system here with over 110 miles of paved trails, plus soft trails and water trails, and we're a group that advocate for that very strongly.
Okay, the Bicycle Pedestrian Advisory Committee was reactivated a few years ago by Mayor Cruz. Tell us a little bit about the activities of the Bicycle Pedestrian Advisory Committee.
Well, we meet once a month, and any community member is welcome to attend as well. And I guess for me, not only do I want to promote healthy living in our city, but also it's been really advantageous to learn about bicycle safety, about how we're progressing our bicycle trail system, all the advocacy that we're doing for community members to promote safe cycling as well as safe walking, and all of the current changes and transformations that we're trying to make to create healthy well-being for our community. And that's what I've gained a lot. That's what I've gained from it.
Okay, Larry, would you tell us about some of your experiences with the Cedar Trails Partnership and how the trails have come about through the advocacy of former Mayor Cruz?
Sure. Well, the Cedar Trails Partnership started, as I mentioned, about 20 years ago. And our trail system has been here for a little longer than that. We really started with the onset of the interstate substitution program with the development of the trail system. The interstate substitution program reconstructed our arterial highway system and street system in the metro area. And along with that, it didn't just develop concrete ribbons of highway through different areas. It looked at much more than that, and one of the things that it added was recreation trails, which we have here in Cedar Falls extensively, and Waterloo's had quite a few, and they're continuing to develop their network as well. So it's been a tremendous program as we moved through it. For a number of years, we developed between 5 and 10 miles of trails. Until in Cedar Falls, I think we've got over 36, probably close to 40 miles of paved trails now. I'm not sure what Waterloo has exactly, but in the county we're over 110 miles of paved trails.
And thanks to John Cruz.
Thanks
Yes.
to John Cruz.
We appreciate his efforts. Yeah. And other organizations.
John did a terrific job with stimulating what we did during that period.
I think you mentioned, Roger, in initial discussion that Mayor John Cruz had the vision for Blue Zones, and part of that was to create this advisory board of bicycle pedestrian members in our community, so we could further advance the wellness and the well-being of our city through bicycling and walking.
And there's an economic
yes.
side of bicycling also. Tell
yes.
us about your knowledge of that.
Well, it's interesting because being on this committee, and any research that comes across my desk, I want to open up. And the last piece I'd gotten was on Walkable Bikeable Cities, and the average cyclist spends more money when they cycle into town in a shopping experience than the average motorist. And I thought that was really interesting because that's a fact that most of us probably aren't aware of, that the average cyclist spends more.
Okay, great. Well, let's turn our attention now to May, which is coming up here in a couple of weeks. And May is National Bike Month, which is a celebration of bicycling organized by the League of American Bicyclists. It's been held for many, many, many years. Can you tell us about some of the activities that are on tap for Bike Month this year?
Oh my gosh, we have so many activities. Well, I'm going to start off with the Bike to School, which is May 10th, and I'm really excited about it. I was really glad, Roger, that you brought forth this opportunity for us. On Wednesday, May 10th, we're going to start off at Birdsall Park. There'll be a number of adults and we hope a number of children that we are going to accompany from Birdsall Park over to Hanson School to show them not only bike safety, but how simply they can ride their bike to school and have fun, move, make new friends, learn how to arrive there safely, learn how to park their bike, learn how to properly wear their helmet, accompany them, experience the joy and the pleasure of riding their bike, and then we will all be there again to greet them and ride them back to Birdsall Park at the end of the day. Because as we know, it's more children are being dropped off in cars than are riding their bikes. And most children live within a reasonable distance that they could ride their bike or walk. So we're just trying to initiate that natural movement.
Okay. We're actually starting the month off with a proclamation declaring May as Bike Month. And the mayor will do a proclamation at the City Council meeting on May 1, and then follow that with a Bike to School. And then we have Bike to Work Week. Larry, do you want to tell us a little bit about Bike to Work Week?
Sure. Bike to Work Week is May 15th to the 19th. Sponsors are Europa Cycle, Bike Tech, Waterloo Bicycle Works, Cedar Valley Bicycle Collective, and the Cedar Valley Cyclist. And there'll be a great deal of publicity by just about all means. There'll be newsletter, there'll be press releases, Facebook, and then posters in many areas around the city. There are a lot of community-wide incentives for this. Several stores have in-store credit coupons, $800 and $4 $25 gift certificates from Europa Cycle, Waterloo Bicycle Works, and Bike Tech. There'll be a number of things posted on Facebook regarding for the entire week. It's a tremendous opportunity for employers to support health and the vitality of their workers and riding their bikes to work that week.
By having recognition or incentive programs within their workplace.
Exactly, yes.
Right, if they've been thinking about developing an incentive program, this might be the month to do that. And we are encouraging people to take selfies once they arrive at work, once they arrive at the store, arrive at church, any place that they're biking, to just take one and post it, and they may win a prize.
Yes, and the Facebook site, we don't have it right here in front of us, but it's the Cedar Valley, on the Facebook, Cedar Valley Bike to Work. And Google will find it, and then you can post your selfie photo.
Post your selfies away.
And all of those who post during that week will have their names thrown in for the drawing for the prizes that Larry just summarized for us. And then, of course, there's one day that is the focus of Bike to Work Week, and that's Friday. So if you haven't ridden Monday through Thursday, then certainly Friday the 19th, you'll want to ride and participate in the Bike to Work raffle that's being held this year.
Well, I just want to mention that I've noticed that a lot of new businesses do have bike racks, and so this might be just the encouragement that people need to think, well, hey, you know, I could do this today, because a lot of them are installing them and they're saying that people are taking advantage of them. And so we hope that we have very desirable weather during the month of May, and so you've got a bike rack in front of your place of employment. This may just be the urge and the nudge that you need.
Great, great. And also employers can take steps within their workplace to provide lockers or places for helmets to be stored, in addition to the bikes parked outside.
I know there are some that even have showers, Roger.
A shower would...
And so I commend those work sites that even offer showers and even indoor parking for their bicycles for people who want to ride to work but yet want to protect their bicycle. I mean, I think that's marvelous. That's a step, that's a very progressive step.
Okay, now one of the special events during Bicycle Month and Bike to Work Week is the Ride of Silence. The Ride of Silence is a national commemoration or memorial, if you will, for bicyclists who are no longer with us, particularly bicyclists who have been killed while riding, but also any bicyclist that is no longer with us. We ride together in a silent fashion to remember and honor those that are no longer with us, to raise awareness that bicyclists are here, they're out on the streets and the roads, and to ask that everyone share the road as really the law requires. A bicycle is a legitimate vehicle to be on the roads except for interstate highways, and this will give you an opportunity to learn to share that space that's out there. We will meet at the green space at 4th and Main Street in Cedar Falls. That's the same place that the Cedar Valley Cyclist has its regular Wednesday ride during the summer. And registration is required, as well as a helmet is required for the Ride of Silence, because safety is paramount. Registration starts at 6 p.m. The program will start about 6:20 p.m. And we expect to be riding shortly after that. It's about an 8-mile ride. It's ridden at a slow pace, so it's appropriate for beginner riders, not real small children, but upper elementary age children is also appropriate. So we hope that everybody will join us. Bring your helmet, bring your bike, and come to 4th and Main in Cedar Falls on Wednesday the 17th for the Ride of Silence. Let's take a little break here in our program, and we'll come back and we'll talk about what's happening with bicycle education and some of the bicycle-related events that are coming up in the community. We'll be right back. Welcome back. I'm Roger White, and we're doing Currents Up Close, and we're talking today about May being Bike Month, and the next segment that we have with Luann and with Larry will be on bicycle safety and bicycle education. And we have several events planned coming up on that topic, on bicycle safety education. So, Luann, Larry, tell us about what's coming up.
Well, we have several bike rodeos, And we have one on April 21st at Hanson, and May 13th at Southdale, May 19th in Cedar Falls, and we have one occurring at the Cedar Valley Pedal Fest on July 1st. And I just want to say that my first bike rodeo was last year when I helped as a member of the Bicycle Pedestrian Advisory Board. And I think it's a great tool. Being a teacher and being a cyclist, I think it's a great tool for children and adults. I went through the simulation of just learning how to maneuver on streets and roads, learning how to signal, learning how to watch, even learning how to appropriately put on your helmet and where it should fall on your head, you know, the 2 fingers above the eyebrows. Those were things, even as a cyclist with all my years of cycling, that I have to say I was glad to be reminded. And it seemed as though that the children were really having fun as they were going through this simulation of learning how to signal, learning that they are part of the traffic on the road as well as a pedestrian, and as well as a motorist, and that they need to follow the same rules of the road as the cars, but they need to be able to keep themselves safe as well. So it's a really good experience. So I really advocate that parents get their children and themselves, if they have not experienced one, and just go through the simulation and try it out. And you did a really good job setting it up. I don't know if you set it up, but whoever set it up, and just mimicking some of the situations that you're going to encounter on the road. So we have lots of opportunities for children and adults to go through a bike rodeo, which is basically just education on how to maneuver in the road and be safe while riding.
And the 3 of them that are connected with schools are targeted specifically for the children in those schools predominantly, Hanson, Southdale, and Lincoln. The date on Southdale is the 12th, not the 13th. It's on a Friday.
Thank you, Roger.
It's on a Friday.
Okay.
All 3 of them actually are on Friday. But the one that's open for the general public will be the one
at
with
the Pedal Fest
in
Valley
July.
Pedal Fest.
And that's anybody can come and participate if they have a helmet. Or
Right.
will there be a helmet provided?
There will be helmets provided too.
Okay.
And yeah, I really advocate that you try it if you haven't done it.
It's a good opportunity for both students and children as well as parents and adults. You really have to, safety is huge. I mean, even when we were talking about the ride of silence or other activities that we've got, safety is always a key part of that. And if you aren't riding safe, you could be really in trouble. And there's nothing more tragic than to have a bicycle accident. Vehicle drivers, you have the same rules of the road, and they all need to be. You need to be observant whether you're driving a vehicle or whether you're riding a bicycle.
Yeah, Ragbri has this little phrase. It's kind of a double meaning: ride right, which of course can mean ride to the right side of the road where you should be, as well as ride correctly.
Properly.
Yes.
Yes. Yes. We have some PowerPoint presentations available. Luann, can you tell us about those and how they might be available to groups?
Sure. Our Pedestrian Bicycle Advisory Board, we came up with this, I think it's a really ingenious idea, of partnering with tourism, who created a couple of PowerPoints on bike safety and motorist safety with bicycles. And they're available for civic groups, for organizations, and they'll have a Bicycle Advisory Board member accompany them. And it would be a program for your group. And I think they're really, really well done. They give a lot of facts about bicycle safety and pedestrian safety along with bicycles, motorists, what they need to tend to. And I just think it's a really good tool if you're looking for a program for your club or your organization to have these presented. So they need to contact you, I guess, Roger.
Well, or Cedar Falls.
Or tourism.
Or Cedar Falls City through David Sturch at Cedar Falls City Hall. Any of those contacts, the word will get down to us, and we can schedule a time to present those. The one for motorists is a little shorter, runs about 12 to 15 minutes depending on discussion.
Okay.
The one for cyclists is a little longer. It runs about 20, 25 minutes.
And we really advocate that you try to do that for May for your monthly meetings, but they'll be available on afterwards. So anytime that you think it's appropriate for your club or your organization, we would be glad to present one of those.
Sure. In terms of other bicycle safety education, we have a program at Holmes Junior High that a couple of the teachers at Holmes do. It's a bicycle club that they conduct with their students. There may be others. I'm familiar with that one, but I'm not familiar with any others in the community.
We'd like to know if there are any others.
Exactly, and we encourage that if they aren't available, it certainly can be done. The program at Holmes is run by Sue Green and Lauren Bauer, and I'm sure they would be willing to consult to how that is put together. And then there's a program called Safe Routes to School in conjunction with our regional planning organization, Intercog. Jackie Shares is the coordinator of the Safe Routes to School program. It isn't just for Cedar Falls, it covers the whole Intercog region, which is, I don't know, 6 or 7 counties around Black Hawk County. But she's available to consult with schools to put together safety programs. She's doing a number of these bike rodeos that we just talked about, and is available to help do bike safety at the elementary and junior high and high schools in the area. Safe
Routes to School is actually an Iowa DOT program federally funded through the Federal Highway Administration. It's an excellent program, and it's available statewide as well as our region. Intercog handles this region, this planning region, and Jackie was specifically hired to take care of that program and does an excellent job. So anybody who has any interest in providing a safe route to their school, they've done a number of studies, but there's always a lot of improvements that can be made. She's available to work with you and get grant money to do that.
Very good. And it would be both bicycle as well as pedestrian. And
that's
her
correct.
focus
That's
isn't just
yes.
exclusively
yes,
bicycle.
That's correct.
DOT, you mentioned, Department of Transportation, has a website with lots of resources that you can download. And they have a pamphlet on bicycle safety, and they also have a pamphlet on pedestrian safety that you can download. Years ago, they used to provide copies of that, but now they provide a link, and you have to make your own copies, I guess, is how progress has moved us along. We have this program, obviously, is part of our bicycle safety education. There'll be newsletter articles that'll be out in various publications. So we're all doing what we can to encourage, not only encourage bicycling as a wonderful method of transportation, recreation, and fitness for improving our physical fitness, but we're also trying to do what we can to make sure that we do it safely, because it's so important, as you said, Larry, that we do it safely. We have a little bit of time left yet. Can we talk about some of the bicycling-related events that might be coming up in the next while? I mean, I can introduce it by giving a pitch for our organization. I'm also active in Cedar Valley Cyclist, and the Cedar Valley Cyclist has every Wednesday night, starting in May, a ride from that grassy spot at 4th and Main, about 6:15. And there will be a trail version, which is a little shorter and a little slower, and there will be a road version, which is a little longer and a little faster pace, so the folks can come and participate. A helmet, again, is required, but you don't have to be a CVC member to participate in that. So that's going to start with the first Wednesday in May and continue all the way through probably until October. We have the Pedal Fest coming up. Luann, I'm sure you'd love to tell us about the Pedal Fest.
Yes, July 1st and 2nd, and we have a number of sponsors. We have Unity Point, we have Blue Zones Project, we have Shields, we have Europa and Bike Tech, all being partners with this. And what we wanted to do was just showcase the city via your bicycle, to just show how easy and pleasurable it would be to get from one destination to the other. And so we have rides such as a brew-to-brew ride, so that you ride from brewery to brewery. We also have a faith-to-faith ride that we've created where the Ministerial Association had decided that they wanted people to visit their churches. So we have about a 14, 15-mile ride there. We also have, which you're in charge of, Roger, is the endurance track where we have longer rides such as 25 and 50-mile rides. But these novelty rides seem to be really creating a lot of first-timers to want to get out on their bikes. Children, families, and that was what was really exciting to me last year, is we were getting a lot of first-timers that said, this looks like a lot of fun, and I really want to try it. It's all free on July 1st and 2nd of this year, Saturday and Sunday, and the rides, most of them start from Gateway Park. There is one ride in Waterloo that will start in Waterloo. And they're just a lot of fun. You travel in a group, you make new friends, you learn about your city, and should be all via your bicycle. And you get to discover some of the real gems that we have via your bicycle.
One ride that I glossed over is the Sturgis Falls ride. There's of course, the Sturgis Falls Festival, the last part of June, and on the 24th of June, Saturday, is a ride sponsored by Cedar Valley Cyclists. Actually, it's two rides. There's a short ride and a long ride again. And there'll be a registration and the helmet again. The helmet keeps coming up because that's an essential part of bike safety, is
yes,
protecting your head. DOT has a saying, don't hit the road without one. So and then we have the Grand Fondo. You folks participated in the Grand Fondo before?
I have not.
You have not?
I have not either, but I'm looking forward to it this year.
So you're the lucky one to elaborate on that, right?
I have. The Grand Fondo is a ride that's scheduled or sponsored in part by the Iowa Bike Coalition, and it's on the 19th, I believe it was, there of August, that it's going to be held this year. That's a Saturday. It starts in downtown Cedar Falls, and again, there's a registration and a helmet along with that. We have probably 400 or 500 riders participate in that last year, and expect that again. So that kind of takes care of some of our summer activities that are coming up.
I'd like to just make a note here. The Cedar Trails Partnership used to sponsor the Cedar Trails Festival, and that was really the impetus that really started, that we had for a number of years. We had it for, I believe, 18, maybe 19 years. We've not had it the last 2 years. We've suspended it. The reason being, it took a lot of volunteers to do that. But the other thing we looked at was, we realized there were a lot of other festivals and a lot of other bike riding events. It's literally exploded. And I think, you know, it really says a lot for the Cedar Valley that there's so many biking opportunities. And anybody who is interested in riding on a weekend, there's usually an event out there that you can find to get involved with.
Okay.
So it's very important.
Thanks, Larry. We're just about out of time, and so we don't run past. I want to thank you, Larry. Thank you, Luann, for your wonderful participation in our discussion today. And we leave it with the folks to get on your bike and have some exercise, have some fun. If not before, then that week in May, it's Bike to Work Week. So for the Cedar Falls Bicycle Pedestrian Advisory Committee, Cedar Falls Partnership, and Cedar Valley Cyclists, I'm Roger White, and thank you for listening and watching.